Sana Biotechnology is currently trading at $5.92, which is a staggering surge of $1.47, representing a 33.03% gain on the day. Now, a move like that in a small-cap biotech name immediately brings to mind pure speculation, a pump-and-dump scheme, or maybe just random market noise. The common expectation for stocks in this space is that they're essentially binary bets, lottery tickets, waiting for a single piece of news. But what we are witnessing today with Sana is something far more substantial, and it speaks to a reality that most of the market has been sleeping on. This isn't just a reaction to a vague press release. This explosive move is anchored in specific, highly promising preclinical data presented for its SC291 program, a novel therapy for B-cell malignancies. What makes this so significant is that it's not just about one potential drug. It's a critical validation point for Sana's entire underlying in vivo CAR T-cell engineering platform. The market is waking up to the possibility that Sana isn't just holding a lottery ticket, it might be building the machine that prints them. The general belief surrounding companies like Sana has always been one of extreme caution. You look at a stock chart that has been beaten down, you see the cash burn inherent in the sector, and you group it with hundreds of other clinical-stage biotechs fighting for funding and survival. It's a tough neighborhood. Most investors, even those comfortable with the volatility of a Tesla stock or an Nvidia stock, see this corner of the market as a black box. You either believe in the science and hold on for dear life, or you stay away entirely. The expectation is that you'll endure long periods of painful decline, punctuated by brief, violent spikes on news. That expectation isn't wrong, but it is incomplete. The deeper reality is that beneath that volatile surface, Sana has been meticulously developing a technology that aims to solve some of the most fundamental problems in cell therapy. The data presented isn't just another step, it's a tangible piece of evidence suggesting their core hypothesis might actually work. It's the difference between telling someone you're building a rocket ship and showing them a video of a successful engine test. The market is reacting to the engine test. Let's break down today's market action, because it tells a story. A 33% move doesn't happen in a vacuum. The trading volume today is absolutely immense, many multiples of its average daily volume. This isn't just retail investors on the Robinhood app chasing momentum. This kind of volume indicates institutional players are taking notice. Large funds, perhaps those managed through services like Fidelity Wealth Management or accessed via platforms like Interactive Brokers, are likely establishing or adding to positions. They have teams of scientists and analysts who can interpret preclinical data, and the surge suggests their interpretation is overwhelmingly positive. This volume creates a feedback loop. As the price breaks through key technical resistance levels, it triggers algorithmic buying and can even force short sellers to cover their positions, adding more fuel to the fire. We're seeing a classic case of a reality-driven re-rating of a company's prospects. For those practicing self-investing, this is the kind of event that can make or break a portfolio, underscoring the importance of understanding the fundamental catalysts driving the price action, not just the chart itself. Many investors looking for investment help often turn to robo-advisors like Schwab Intelligent Portfolios or SoFi Robo-Advisor to diversify away from this single stock risk. But for those actively trading, today is a masterclass in catalyst-driven movement. So what does Sana Biotechnology actually do? In the simplest terms, Sana is focused on engineering cells as medicines. This is a frontier of medicine with incredible potential. Their work is built on two primary technology platforms. The first is their hypoimmune or HIP platform. A major challenge with cell therapies is that if you use cells from a donor, allogeneic therapy, the patient's immune system recognizes them as foreign and attacks them. Sana's HIP platform modifies these cells to make them essentially invisible to the immune system, allowing for the creation of off-the-shelf cell therapies that could be given to any patient without rejection. The second, and the one making headlines today, is their fusion platform, which is designed for in vivo cell engineering. Traditionally, CAR T-cell therapy, which has been highly effective for some blood cancers, involves a complex and expensive process. A patient's T-cells are removed from their body, sent to a lab, genetically engineered to hunt cancer, and then infused back into the patient. Sanda's technology aims to do this entire engineering process inside the patient's body. They essentially deliver the genetic payload directly to the T cells, turning them into cancer fighters without ever having to remove them. The data for SC291 is a demonstration of this in vivo process, and its success in preclinical models is why investors are suddenly paying attention. This approach could make CAR T therapy safer, more accessible, and dramatically cheaper, expanding its use far beyond its current applications. Of course, the path from here is still fraught with risk. This is where the initial cautious expectation meets the new, more optimistic reality. Preclinical data, no matter how exciting, is not the same as success in human trials. The history of biotechnology is littered with companies that showed incredible promise in labs and animal models, only to fail in human studies. This is the ultimate risk for anyone considering an online investment in Sana. Furthermore, running human clinical trials is incredibly expensive. We have to look at Sana's balance sheet. What is their cash position? What is their quarterly cash burn? The company will inevitably need to raise more capital in the future, which could come through partnerships or, more likely, through secondary stock offerings that dilute the ownership of current shareholders. This is a standard part of the biotech life cycle, but it's a risk that needs to be priced in. Anyone using a platform from SoFi Invest to Fidelity to buy shares needs to be acutely aware that this is not a short-term trade, but a long-term speculation on the success of their scientific platform. The competitive landscape is also fierce. Other major pharmaceutical and biotech companies are working on similar approaches to in vivo engineering and overcoming immune rejection. Sana may have promising technology, but they are not alone in this race. Based on this new data, what do you think is a realistic price target for Sana by the end of the year? Comment your thoughts below. Looking forward, the future for Sana is now defined by a series of clear milestones. The immediate catalyst will be the process of filing an investigational new drug application, IND, with the FDA to begin human trials for SC291. The market will be watching this process intently. Any updates, positive or negative, will have a significant impact on the stock price. Beyond that, the progress of other candidates in their pipeline that utilize the same core platforms will be critical. Each successful data readout for another drug candidate further validates the entire technological approach, de-risking the company as a whole and making it more attractive to investors and potential partners. If their hypoimmune platform also demonstrates success in avoiding immune detection in human trials, the potential applications could expand exponentially into areas like type 1 diabetes and other autoimmune diseases. The opportunity is immense. A successful platform for in vivo cell engineering would be one of the most significant medical advances of the decade. It could rival the impact we've seen from advancements that propelled companies like Apple stock or Nvidia stock to mega cap status, albeit in a completely different industry. This is the long-term opportunity that has investors so excited today. Investing sites will be abuzz with this story, and it will be interesting to see if the analyst community begins to upgrade their ratings and price targets in the coming days. For those managing their finances through an individual brokerage account, whether it's the Fidelity mobile app or the Interactive Brokers trading platform, Sana now represents a much more compelling, albeit still high-risk story. In conclusion, the dramatic 33% surge in Sana Biotechnology stock today is a clear-cut case of reality crashing headfirst into a stale market expectation. The prevailing view was that of a struggling, speculative biotech in a difficult market. That was the common narrative. The reality, revealed by compelling new preclinical data, is that Sana's core technology for engineering cells inside the body has just passed a major validation test. The market is now being forced to reconsider the company not as a single product bet, but as the owner of a potentially transformative platform. The volume and institutional interest suggest this is not a fleeting moment of retail enthusiasm. However, the path forward remains incredibly challenging and filled with the inherent risks of drug development, from clinical failure to the constant need for capital. The tension between the enormous potential of the science and the brutal realities of the biotech business model will define Sana's trajectory from here. What we know for certain is that after today, Sana is no longer a name that can be easily dismissed. It has forced its way back into the center of the conversation about the future of medicine. Thanks for watching.